Okay, well, now that I've convinced you that I'm normal or not normal, I'm going to tell you my dog story. So this is Belle, and looks a lot like the dog I have now, but Gracie is what I have now. Belle was a looked mostly Springer, but I think she had some Cocker in her or something. And then we had a bunny. We like black and white animals, I guess. We had a black and white kitty too that was Belle's best friend, and uh, and Belle lived most of her life in my house here. So our lawn needs weeded and mowed, but we first got Belle. We were living in Hilliard in the house before this one. We lived in this house for since 1995. So Belle spent most of her time here, and a lot different neighborhood now. Still a good neighborhood, but when Belle was growing up, there was no fences, and everybody pretty much let their dogs roam. There wasn't that many of them, and they all got along together and hung out with each other. And Belle just loved to go out in the field over here and play. We always had a doggy door. All of our pets have always just come and gone as they wanted to, and always came back. The two we have now, I just haven't spent a good enough time training them and stuff. But cats, the dogs, they've always loved this field out here, about 100 acres owned by, I think it might be owned by the state now. It was Inland Power, but I believe it's part of this Centennial Trail Park thing now. The Centennial Trail is just over the ridge over there in the river. So again, Belle would go out here and she'd run around with other dogs, and they'd all go down to the river and play. And we took off for almost a month once on a long vacation, and we had a nice young girl staying at our house, and we had her watch the kitty and Gracie and everything while we were gone. And I think the first week we were gone, she said they ran away. Haven't seen them. This is my good friend Dan's house over here, Dan Bain, and he we found out when we got back that the Belle and the kitty had gone to Dan's house and and stayed there the whole time. It's very nice of them, but that's kind of how Gracie's the new dog. Belle just was friends with everybody. The mailman would come by, and she would get in his truck, and he'd always have to check. UPS guy would always have to go back in his truck and make sure that that Belle wasn't along for a ride. One time we were sitting at that window right there, and we saw a car kind of go by, and there was two people in the front seat, and there was our dog in the back seat. Belle was in the back seat just looking around, going for a ride. She just did stuff like that. And what else? Well, there's the well. This fence wasn't there, but this is Pasadena Park well house, and the guys would come down just about every day to do something with the well from Pasadena Park. And he always would bring extra food for Belle or share a sandwich or something. And after Belle was gone, he was one of the people that came to the house and said, "I hate to ask, I've seen Belle in a long time, and we just wanted to know if something bad happened." And said, "Yeah, Belle died." And he cried. I cried. Everybody cried when they found out Belle died. And she made it about 13 years, which was pretty good. Not long enough for me, but I had a dog growing up, but it wasn't really my dog. It was kind of the family dog, mostly my mom's dog, and it wasn't really my dog. And I'd always wanted the dog. And Barb and I got married in '82, and had Brenda '83, Bonnie '85, and we were moving around a bit. And Barb just didn't want to get a dog, so I asked lots of times about getting the dog, and it didn't make sense at the time. But I'd gone to school in Seattle for a couple years and came back to Spokane, and just it was a hard time. That was probably about 90, maybe something like that, early 90s. And my dad had died, and three of my longtime friends from growing up had died, and then a really close friend of mine who I was probably best friends with at the time died. I was with him when he died. That was Bill Burgess, and I was with him when he died, and I'll tell you about that later. It was an amazing thing, but I was really sad. Bill was gone. And then And then my best friend from my whole life, childhood friend, Jeff Fagan, showed up about then, which was great. That helped me a lot. I was so happy to have my best friend back, and he spent almost every day with us, and he loved me and my wife, my kids, and he was at our house all the time and went camping with us. And I got a little red spot there. But he'd only been home for a few months, and he wasn't in a fight, but some guys were harassing him and his brother, and Jeff ended up getting his head bashed in with a baseball bat, and I got a call from his mom, and this was in, I think, October of that same year, that everybody else died, and he didn't die. He was supposed to die, but he didn't. But he spent I think around 13, 14 years in a nursing home, you know, and he was conscious. He always was glad to see me. He couldn't talk very well towards the end, but I, felt guilty about that. But it was a sad, sad time, and it was probably one of my first kind of breakdowns, I guess. I didn't know that I could be subject to depression and that kind of stuff. But this was when Belle came into my life, and it was Barb's idea. Friends of ours had gotten a puppy, one of Belle's sisters or brothers, and said they had some left, and it was all Barb's idea. And let's go get a dog for the kids. So I didn't say yay. I said, well, if we have to, I guess it's okay. A dog for the kids. That's a good idea. But it was my dog, and we went out and picked out. Of course, I picked out the one that was had the most energy and the best personality. And I didn't get to. I wouldn't have named her Belle, but that was a good name for her. The kid. That was when. My mind is going. A Disney show, Beauty and the Beast. That's what it was. That was popular then, and the kids named Belle. She was a fun puppy, and she was still a puppy when we moved out here. And I've got videos and stuff of her down, at the river down there.